Good afternoon. I'm now going to call the Wednesday, August 6th, 2025 meeting of the Norfolk County Commissioners to order. I'm going to read the executive order on remote participation. On March 26, 2025, Governor Healy signed into law House Bill 62, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, which includes a 2-year extension of the option for public bodies to hold remote meetings by suspending certain provisions of the Mass Open Meeting Law, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 through 25. That action was effective immediately, extending current option for remote meetings through June 30th, 2027. Thank you. If you could stand and join me in saluting the flag.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome. I'm going to call a roll. Commissioner Stady.
I am present, sir.
Commissioner Collins. Present. Commissioner Shea is present. We have a quorum. Number 3, no executive session today. Number 4, minutes of several recent meetings. Commissioner Stady.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased to move approval of the meeting minutes as presented. The first is for the meeting minutes of July 23rd. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
I move
Next.
approval of the meeting minutes of July 30th for the open session as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It is a vote. Next.
And finally, I'll move approval, Mr. Chairman, for the executive session minutes, the executive minutes for the meeting of July 30 as presented with the stipulation not to be released until such time as the chair so declares.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. That concludes the minutes. We're up to date. Number 5, appointments. Patrick Higgins, County Surveyor, Department Report. Patrick, come up in
Oh, boy.
the big seat here.
There we go.
Commissioners, in your packet, hot off the press is a report dated August 4th from Patrick Higgins, County Surveyor, regarding Norfolk County Engineering Department list of projects as of 8/4/2025. Patrick, you have the floor. Hello.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. How you doing?
Great.
Good.
You?
Good. So I was asked to just make a punch list alphabetically and listed out the municipal projects we've been working on. It's been over a year and a half or so since I've been in to talk about projects. So I listed all alphabetically by town and just kind of give you a heads up on the different towns we've touched on and the projects for. And with the statuses, whether they're active, ongoing, uncompleted. Some of the projects are listed twice because we did like initial surveying and mapping for base plans, and they went to design, and then so that's completed. And then we've come back like during either construction or after construction to give additional support as needed to lay out or reset property corners that would or things that would disturb during construction. So it's kind of like multi-phased. I can either go through some of the bigger projects we're working on that are active, but so I listed out each town first that we're working in, and then there's a list of county projects that we're working in-house for our own, like Dedham District Court, Brookline District Court, the Agricultural High School at the Hilltop Farm, and the rear of the Agricultural High School, and a couple of small projects on there that we did like a year ago. And then I listed out petitions that we've had for discontinuances, which you're well aware. We did 2 in the last 2 years for Page Street on the east side and one on the west side of on Route 24 in Stoughton. So Page Street, that's complete. And then a couple of, every year we have a slew of Mass DOT filings that we handle, and then research and other projects that come in through the public and private entities and the towns. I would say the most active projects we have right now is Oakland Street in Millis. That's a little bit over a mile long. It goes from Main Street, Route 109 to Village Street, with retracing the right of way and doing a full topographic detail for them to have for future improvements and paving and drainage improvements on that.
What was that? I'm sorry. Was that Grove? Oak Grove?
Oakland Street in Millis.
Oakland. I thought they said Oakland Street
So
that way.
That's been ongoing. We're the field work is pretty much done. We're in the drafting stage of those plans. That's a large project. In Millis as well, last fall, we finished the Midway Community Farm, did a 15-acre survey, boundary survey, topographic detail survey, so they can use for conservation filing. That's gone through. They've been able to build a pavilion and a new restroom on site due to the survey, and are going to put on file with the DEP a conservation farm plan, so they can work on site without having to file a permit every time through conservation. And then they have future plans to put a barn on site, so we've helped them try to locate where to place the barn. The one that was the hot spot about a year ago was the Dover DPW, where they had flooding. So we stopped all projects at that time a year ago fall to get in and do the survey for them, which was a boundary survey and a topographic existing condition survey. Gave it to the designers. They had failed on-site drainage infiltration system, and they wanted to replace the salt shed. So the plans were used to design new drainage and drainage repair, which they just completed construction recently, and they already replaced the salt shed. So that was a pretty involved project. Active projects also we're switching over to Millis. We're going to be doing a boundary survey for a section of the Oak Grove Farm along opposite Orchard Street between Ridge and Exchange, just because they have a handful of abutters that are may possibly been leaving organic matter and other things onto the farm. So we're going to do a boundary survey and put some fence posts in to remind people where the boundary line is, because it's really not demarked right now. There's no fence or anything. There's no stone wall. Just like open field. So we'll be working on that. And then we have a request that I'll bring to you next week in Millis as well, right down the street on Ridge in Auburn at the Prospect Hill Cemetery. They want us to do some mapping of the interior roadways in the label what the different sections are in the cemetery, so they can use it as a schematic map so people can find where the interments are. They don't currently have a map that shows the sections, so people have a hard time finding the.
Really?
Yeah, so we did something similar over in Dover, and then when we were talking to the people in Millis, they said, "Oh, well, if you did help Dover, could you help us?" So that's how word of mouth gets around between the DPW. So and then let's see, one of the projects I haven't really talked about, but I've been having the youngest member of the team, Patrick Rockwell, has been working countywide. We have the one town left to do is Brookline, and we've gone through and at least two new control points in each town that are occupied with static GPS, global positioning systems. And it's a part of the National Geodetic Survey nationwide GPS on benchmarks to make sure that all throughout the county, we have random points in each town, or a couple, it could be 2 to 4 points in each town. So when they're in the process of developing a new vertical datum nationwide and through the globe, and I want to make sure that a lot of the older control points aren't on GPS. They're on from 1929 or 27, 83, and 88. But we have new geoid models of the Earth and things like that. So they've requested that the states and counties and towns, if they can add these resources, and basically it's a 4-hour occupation. You send the data into National Geodetic Survey. They add it to their database, which is published on a GIS website at their level and at the MassDOT level. So people will have access to these points to help do surveys in the future and have for FEMA flood control maps and it's benchmarks like that for elevation certifications. So Patrick is winding down the field work, and then we'll be publishing all the data to NGS in the next month or two. And then you're going to see a heavy, right now when you go on the GIS at NGS, there's a lot of old control points. You're going to see a flurry of activity as all the towns are going to have at least 2 to 4 new ones added in, which usually they're getting disturbed by construction or wiped out during renovations of long roadways and things like that. There's not a lot of remonumentation. So we worked on, I thought it was important to be part of this project for the county to kind of make sure that the reference frame that we use for the datum is representative of what's actually on the ground in Norfolk County. So.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
On that? Do you mind?
So I kind of.
Commissioner Stady, go ahead.
It's right on point. Someone had reminded me of some random thing that many years ago, when I served as a select board member, I actually took part in what was called the walking of the bounds and met.
Preambulate the
Yeah, I met with a neighboring person in Stoughton and
Yeah.
neighboring town, and I actually, we verified that this is where the boundary marker was.
Yes.
That makes sense? So is that supposed to be done like what, every 20, every 30, 50 years? Or what?
Every 5 years, a preambulation is supposed to be done in conjunction with bordering towns. It's on the, still on the state statutes.
Okay,
And they used to call it, the old school was the beating of the bounds.
yeah,
But they used to walk in, and everybody would walk so that everybody would know where it was. And
right.
a lot of times what a lot of towns do is they'll get pennies from the year they walk it,
Oh,
and they'll chew gum, stick it on the side, so
Oh,
when
geez.
they can go back and always know what year they would last there.
Huh.
So you'll see a bunch of pennies, and once the gum is stuck in, it dries like
I wish
cement.
I had known.
Instead of like defacing it, but they used to paint with big numbers the year,
Right.
and then instead you see a lot of places they use pennies now.
So my point then, so does the county engineers get involved with that too?
So we get involved
Is
when
that a twofer?
we get involved more so when people can't find the corners, or they've
Okay.
been disturbed or
Uh-huh.
wiped out, or need to be reset after maybe there's construction, or we've had a couple that I know I've been involved in resetting that were along stream beds and got washed down during floods and things, and then
Sure.
we've had to reset them back in place
Okay.
with cement and using
Interesting.
come-alongs and things like that,
Okay.
because they're pretty large stones.
That's it. Great.
We do have a history of when there were questions, and we provide the data in the locations in state plan coordinates to the state. So any place like where Joe Mantic was at work before, any place where we did work on town lines, we provided it to Mass GIS and to Mass DOT. And a lot of the monuments or the town line corners are updated in the Mass GIS, have the corners in Norfolk County that have been updated, because most of the coordinates are from latitude and longitude from the Land and Harbor Commission atlases that are from the late 1800s, early 1900s, when they set most of the corners. And those are on at least 2 to 3. It was on the U.S. standard datum that was from the 1880s. So it's the latitude and longitude was approximate. So using GPS in modern day, instead of being plus or minus 9 feet or 10 feet, we've got it down within like a tenth of a foot or a couple inches.
Wow.
So, yeah, so, so we have the ability to assist with that. And then when towns have a question, or they think they're looking at subdivision plans and they question where the town line is depicted on the plans, they might request us to come in and ascertain where the town line is, to either support or suggest a better way to show it on the plans. So a little bit too much detail, maybe. Sorry about that. So, but we'd be happy if you have any further questions. I just wanted to give you an overview of what we're working on. We're pretty much, I know Commissioner Stady was concerned about the volume. I'll bring one more project next week, and then I think we're good for a while. I think we're at full saturation until we finish some project and get them off the shelf.
Yeah. Just trying to protect everybody.
Yeah, no, everybody's been, I like, busy is good,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah. And plus you have a list of all the additional services that you're doing here, which is incredible. So it's great. It's
and
great.
we've gone through in the spring, every other year. My goal is every other year we do certifications for first aid, CPR, AED training, and we're all been certified as first responders. So we have an AED and first aid kit in each van. So if something happens to us in the field,
Mhm.
we can immediately try to render services while we call 911 and wait for support. Or if we're at an intersection or on a roadway, the other reason was like Joe McNichols and I. Sometimes we're already there, and we're the first ones to see something, and instead of just calling, we could, if you're have the aptitude for it, you could try to help.
Right. No.
So
It's not trying to be picky, but
Yep.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear on this. So number 10 and 11, right, on page 2.
sure.
10 says Medway Oakland Street, and I thought I heard you say Millis. So am I wrong?
So Medway is two projects. Is Oakland Street
Right,
from Main Street, Route 109, all the way down to Village,
right.
and then the next two projects are in Millis.
Okay.
That's
okay.
Oak Grove Farm,
Oak Grove.
which is on Exchange Street and Ridge and
And you got a lot of Medfield, a lot of Millis, a lot
Yep.
of Dover.
and then
Dover gets their money's worth, huh?
well, they did, but we go around, and then the one of the projects you just approved recently was at Bellingham, so we'll be heading out to Bellingham when Oakland Street's done. Bellingham Box Farm Road project is a longer project, and we'll switch over to that. So
Okay, great. Good.
we're moving our way through
Good
the
job. Good work.
trying to touch different towns.
We'll keep up the good work.
Question,
I'm John.
Oh, John.
John,
Yeah, Commissioners, just to let you know, within the last year, Patrick does a great job projecting the engineering services of Norfolk County to the communities that are not often heard from. I don't know if you want to deal with that right now, Patrick, but we did reach out to several of them that we haven't had business with in the last several years to let them know about the opportunity to utilize these free services, these regional services to their benefit. Right now, a couple of them, Braintree comes to mind, Patrick. They did not need your services, but it's important that he checks in, especially with some of the larger communities that do have, in some cases, their own units, but we can complement them and definitely add value to what they're doing. So Patrick's done a good job making sure that everybody knows the services that Norfolk County offers and checks in with them frequently.
Great. No.
Part of the GPS project where we're doing touching in each town, some of them we did on public land or parks. We added these control points to a school, out front of the school, maybe not on school grounds, but just out front. So we touched, you got in touch with the DPW directors and or the town managers or the school department. And then when we did that, like Bellingham said, hey, we have a project, so that's why Box Pond came about. Because we reached out to them about the GPS project about setting monuments in front of the school to make sure we coordinate with the school and things. So
Fantastic.
yeah, there's the towns are not afraid to ask for the projects when they reach out. So
I have a question, Patrick. It's a general question. Over the years, you hear them say county roads.
yes,
We do work other than on county roads, correct? I know you have to,
yes,
if they enter, we sign off when they come through there, after you look at it. I know if they alter a county road or do a curb cut, it comes back through you. But what, if someone's in county roads, what does that mean to you?
we were in the business of laying out new roads back at a certain point in time, and I think from the 70s into the 80s and into the 90s, it kind of transitioned from we stopped laying out new public right of ways for the towns.
Right.
The towns kind of took over doing that themselves. And we have county layouts that we've had for the last couple hundred years, and we, as long as we're in business and anybody has a question, we can go back out and remonument or retrace the right of way. But the care, custody, maintenance of the roads and the infrastructure is at the town level. So our job really is involved just to make sure that the right of way is retraceable on the ground. And then if people want to change or alter it, we work on the petition process with them from a legal standpoint with county council.
Okay.
I don't think we're laying out. I don't think we have laid out a new county roadway.
We never maintained them, well,
No, care, custody, maintenance, and construction is at the town level. And I know back in the day when we were laying out multiple county layouts on the town's petition to do so, if the town didn't build it or construct it to standards, the county would vote usually to finish construction and then back charge the town for it. But the town was responsible for it.
I just often wondered, this is an MBTA story, but years ago, Eastern Mass was absorbed by the MBTA. Eastern Mass was the bus company, the MBTA was the transit. Eastern Mass had the suburbs out through Quincy and everything. There was a time that the MBTA did like plowed. They plowed the roads because they had to plow for the buses. So and then they stopped in the 50s, and it was a big hoo-ha because they did a very good job. And then, depending on the town, but they used to do, Boston out through Quincy and that. After when the Eastern Mass, which was the bus arm of it, got absorbed by the MBTA, I'd say that was in the 60s that it stopped. But you got great service in Boston and the suburbs if you lived on bus route. Did you get double do, but they'd be right out there. All that's going by. Okay.
I would say that's one of the two things that I do get from residents is calls about infrastructure and paving the county roads when they find out it's county layout. And I usually refer to them to the DPW at the local town.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other call that everybody gets is the Norfolk County Mosquito Control. So
That's true.
And the only other call we randomly get is for there's a company called Norfolk County Engineering that does septic systems. And I forget whether they're in Walpole or someplace, but we get calls for septic systems and we refer them to that entity when we need to.
Okay, any other questions of Patrick? This is a great job,
Great
Patrick.
job, Patrick. Keep up the good work to all your people. Great work.
And I forgot the active project, Wallace, the Wollaston Recreation, we did existing conditions of the tennis courts in the parking lot. That went out to bid. It's under contract with ARPA funds, and it started construction last week. So course 1 and 2 have been removed. The sub base is being compacted through this week, and they may be paving the binder there next week.
Oh, great.
So it's working. It looks good. The site's smooth. Carl's happy with the contractor. The contractor's doing a good job.
What's
so
the
far.
contractor's name? I said we said-
Belco, they're out of New Hampshire, I
Yeah.
believe. They do a lot of park renovations for like playgrounds and tennis courts and basketball courts.
Okay,
So in the end, they'll have a resurfaced handball court. They'll paint the handball wall. There'll be new courts 1 and 2, and then all of the gate access will be widened to 36 inches, and there'll be ramps and sidewalks, hopefully to each court for ADA compliance and improvements in the parking lot as well.
And hopefully done by November, maybe?
Yeah, so they planning, I think they want to have, the goal is to have the finished coat of pavement done in September. You have to wait 30 days to do the surface treatment, and they are hoping that with the temperature, it's temperature dependent. So in early October, mid-October, and then it should be closeout punch list by end of October, November.
Great.
So,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Yeah,
I forgot to talk about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patrick,
you
did
again.
you let them know you're gonna be doing the tennis court project for us?
he just talked
He was
about.
talking
You
about-
did?
Yes,
Okay,
I
did.
I stepped up, that's all.
That's okay.
I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Take
You're
care. now.
welcome. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Commissioners, number 6, public comment. Each week we have a public comment section allowing a public that wants to have any comment, whether they be out in Zoom land or in person. Now is the time, public comment. John, you not, did you get any questions for public comment?
Not this week, no, sir.
Not this week, okay. Last call for public comment. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Old business, I have none. Personnel matters for consideration. Commissioner Stady, on about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
A lot of stuff.
7 at the school and 1.
Just checking. Yes, sir. All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd be pleased to move the following for approval at the Norfolk County Agricultural High School first. We have several notice of appointments. Let's see if I can get them together. First, appoint motion approved for Jamie Toto as a 188-day guidance counselor. Let's see, yep. Next, a notice of appointment for Jane E. Engel as a 183-day instructor. And notice of appointment for Lauren O'Malley as a 183-day instructor. Those 3 appointments with the effective date of 8/25/25 at the rate stated. I'd so move approval of those 3.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye, it is a vote. Next.
Next, move approval of the notice of contingent appointment for Anthony Camero as a substitute instructor at the rate stated, effective date 8/25/25. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Next.
I'll move approval of notice of promotion for Jessica T-Walt as a 183-day instructor with the effective date of 8/25/25. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Next.
The notice of approval, a notice of retirement of Lori Pelletier as a 183-day instructor with the effective date of 6/30/25. So moved.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye. And
Next.
the last one, I move approval of the resignation of Jessica DeMora as a vocational assistant principal. The effective date of her resignation is 9/2/25. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
We want to wish Jessica well. She's
Thank
have
you.
a good positive influence, and we wish her well in the future. Next, in the Information Technology Department, I move approval of the notice of separation of service for Dallas Bray as network administrator at the rate stated with the effective date of 7/28/25. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
This is a vote, thank you.
And
That completes Personnel matters for today. Number 9, payroll and expense warrants for approval.
All right, Mr. Chair, move the following with a long list here, so bear with me. This is the warrant list of 8/6/25. I move approval of 26-5 payroll of the county, the sum $156,304.43. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next.
Next, for the payroll of the county, I move approval of 26-5, parentheses 5-1, the sum $25,348. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Third, I move approval of the payroll for the school, 26-5, parentheses 3, the sum $170,041.68. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Next, again at the school, for the payroll of the school, 26-5, parentheses 3.1, I will approve the sum $282,607.17. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
We have 2 opera awards. Move approval of 26-04 opera award for Franklin in the amount of $86,000. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And the other one is an opera award to Quincy, 26-04, the sum $12,924.35. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye,
It
2 to
is a
go.
vote.
Next, for the Wallaston Recreational Facility credit card payment, I move approval of 8-4-25, the sum $60,082. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
And lastly, I move approval for the expense of the county of -08-01-25, the sum $87,174.61. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
That concludes the warrant list, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 10. In your packet, June 2025 trial balances for acceptance. A long list here, dated (5/30/25). And total balance is $39,272,363.49. Any questions?
How's that look compared to last month? Are we up, down? Any way of knowing?
I can tell you that the June trial balance resulted in a favorable position. I was going to bring this up later, but
Yeah.
I'll mention it now since you brought it up. Mr. Dior from the Treasurer's Office confirms that as we closed FY26, the county had a favorability totaling.
You mean when you close fiscal year 25?
Fiscal year 25, when we closed in July.
Okay.
For FY25.
Right.
$2,260,629.99. We'll go through that in detail when we start to plan for the advisory board meeting in September. But I think it's safe to say that June was favorable, along with the whole of FY25.
Good. That's good.
Mhm.
That's great news.
We need a vote of acceptance on
Yes,
this?
I'll move that we accept the
Excellent.
trial balance for June 30. We make that a little smaller. And the amount is $39,272,363.49. I will approve of that.
Second.
Motion made and seconded on trial balance. All in favor?
Aye.
Accept. Number 11, are we gonna postpone number 11 smoking policy?
Yeah, just briefly,
No,
last week, the Commissioner Stady asked for a review by council. She has reviewed it. She's provided me some feedback, which involves some additional footwork. I should have something for you by next week.
Okay. I'll have a motion to continue number 11, which is an adoption of smoking policy.
Second. I'll make the motion.
Okay, all in
I'll
favor?
second. I'll
Aye.
second.
We'll carry that to next week. Number 12, report from the procurement department regarding bid openings and contract awards. We have none today. No milk today. Number 12, APRA program transfer request. Director Cronin.
In today's warrant, Commissioners, you approved payment to
Quincy and
the
Rennie
city of
Franklin.
Quincy totaling $12,924.35, and the town of Franklin totaling $86,000. You had previously approved of the transfer activity. We were just waiting for some confirmation from the treasurer's office that previous funds that created these surpluses were returned. Having confirmed that, you exercised payment today through the warrant. So thank you for that. I will refer you to the current status of ARPA program transfers. We have none pending at this time. We expect some amount of surplus to develop on the county side over the next several weeks, months. And we'll come back to you with a request to transfer then. But that is all for today. Your piece.
Thank you.
So, quick question. Mr.
Yes,
Chairman?
Commissioner.
Real quick. So the opera for Franklin and the opera for Quincy, are those funds earmarked for a certain program?
Yes.
Can you tell us what they are?
Sure.
Or,
To the best I can. So ARPA 86,000 is going to unexpended, let's see. It's going to ARPA 1045, which is a excess surplus account. The money's coming from the mental health clinician program that the county had previously given Franklin.
yeah,
And they are moving these new funds to a stormwater improvement grant that had been approved as excess capacity. That's
okay,
Franklin.
Yep.
And in Quincy, similarly, I believe they're awarded
Yes.
$2.3 million for a infrastructure improvement grant. I can't remember the name of the street commission shade, but I'm sure you would know it. These funds now are going into ARPA 1323, which is also an infrastructure project for the city of Quincy. So they're moving it around into eligible projects that still need the funds in Quincy.
Okay.
great. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else on opera today?
No, sir.
Okay, number 14. Request to use President's Golf Course for promotional filming by the Sam Adams Company. Gentlemen, there's an agreement in our pocket here.
That is a draft agreement.
A draft
It's since been
agreement.
upgraded, and I can give you an update when you're ready. Mr.
Why don't you
Chairman.
give us that?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioners, the Sam Adams Corporation has approached the county with an interest in filming an internal corporate video on August 11th at Walson Recreational Facility. It'll be a low impact cast and crew production that our superintendent Carl Miner informs me will not have any impact on the View Restaurant or golf operations. In consideration of using the space that day, Sam Adams has agreed to pay the county $1,500. This particular contract, again, you received the draft last night. It's been since amended by council. Scott Lopez has drafted this for your approval this afternoon. Has already been endorsed by Sam Adams.
Okay.
Scott's
Any
recommendation.
questions,
Scott's recommendation.
comments?
So there's no issue in terms of interrupting golf games and the rest?
Now, I think the
Well, they don't
corporation,
film it, you know?
yeah, the corporation is looking for some space within the View Restaurant briefly, and then out on the course briefly. There are 4 people on site. It's not a very large production. They're using it for an internal product placement promotion within the corporation. They're just testing something. So it's not something for public.
Do we get a credit on the thing at least? Does it say film that?
I don't think so.
Check.
Oh, okay, too bad. Oh, well. All right. Well, the agreement's been reviewed. Council's reviewed it. Calvin, who's our superintendent, it's okay, right?
Mhm.
So I move that we approve the agreement between the Norfolk County, I would say, Commissioners and the Boston Beer Company, known as BBC, to utilize the Walton Recreational Facility located at West Quantum Street, Quincy, Mass, for the purposes of outlined in connection with the video and in terms of all the other terms contained hereof, effective this date.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded to approve the agreement between the county and the Sam Adams Brewing Company relative to some filming to be done on our premise at the President's Golf Course. I have all the paperwork here. We can go forward today.
Yeah.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Here's the paperwork. It is the
Actually,
vote.
if you
Thank
could
you.
sign this one,
Which one do you want to sign?
Number
This one.
14,
Joe, can I have that back? Please? Sign that one because that was her co-signature.
that one had the changes. Okay, throw the old one away. Sign what you put in front of me. Thank you. Okay, number 14, we did. Moving right along here. Number 15, report of the county director.
Thank you,
John.
Chairman Shea. Just another reminder, tomorrow, the County Commissioners Association will be meeting in Fall River. I've distributed the time, location. I have a copy of the agenda if the commissioners are interested beforehand. And it's expected to take 1 to 2 hours, as it usually does. And it's Bristol is hosting. Thank you, Commissioner. A week from tomorrow, our RSVP program will be holding its annual volunteer luncheon over in Norwood. I believe each of the commissioners are invited to attend. Lucille's done a tremendous job getting ready. I expect a strong turnout and as always, a very worthwhile event, recognizing the number of volunteers that really put that program forward for us. September 17th is the advisory board meeting. Phil Iantosca sent out an email last week alerting departments to submit their transfer, supplemental, and capital needs or interests back to us by August 22nd. With the holiday in the middle of this time frame, we want to give the commissioners enough time to understand the needs of departments as we get going under FY26. I believe I previously mentioned I do envision this year doing a capital budget. I've begun modeling it, and tentatively it looks like a total of $750,000 for capital, and we'll hold the balance for supplemental needs throughout the year. So all in all, looking very favorable for the resumption of capital activities. And also finally, kind of complementing that, Bill Buckley and I will be meeting with the new superintendent, Jeremy Gay, here next week. It's a very laid back, non-agenda meeting, pens down, if you will. We just talk about what's going on in our worlds and how we can help each other. So I plan to be speaking with the superintendent about the capital plan and the notion that the commissioners and advisory board agreed to, as well as outgoing superintendent John Martin, that the county ought to enjoin the schools in some form of an MOU to ensure that capital funds that make their way to the schools are enjoined through some level of commitment towards long-term capital needs. So we'll go through that with Jeremy next week and see what he thinks about it
Interesting.
and see if we can make some hay on that. So
Yeah.
that is all I have at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, questions of the commissioner, the director?
So the meeting tomorrow is at noon,
It is.
and you roughly expect 2 hours.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, it's a typical agenda. There are some items on there that are new. I know there's some conversations out of Barnstable that they want to discuss. So we'll see where it takes us. But yeah.
Do we have any anticipated elected officials other than county? It's like.
I don't. I didn't handle the RSVP. Commissioner Mitchell did.
That's right. Okay.
We did give assistance to Commissioner Mitchell, as I believe my counterpart in Bristol has retired. So he's got a little vacancy at this time. So
Okay.
we did give him some support scheduling the meeting.
All right. We don't have anything else other than congratulations. We're going to have a great beer company using our facility. That's pretty good.
From Boston.
Yeah, it's great from Boston.
You had to get that in. Didn't
I
you?
had to get it in. That's one of my favorites. I would move that we adjourn the meeting at 1:39.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 1:39. We'll meeting next week. Thank you very much.